Hey, this is Jason with 4W Knives. Today's project, I'm taking this piece of rasp and I'm going to make a blacksmith knife. It's going to be pretty crude, pretty rough. I'm not looking for anything that's going to win any beauty contest. I've done these before in the past. Those I took some time, I did some hand sanding, I really made sure that they look good. That is not going to be what this one is about. This is just about getting me a knife that I can have out in the shop, that I can throw around and not worry if I ruin it. So anyways, I hope you enjoy it. I'll talk a little bit as I go through here just to tell you what my process is, but overall everything, I appreciate you watching. All right, so at this point I've got it narrowed down, cut in the tip with the angle grinder. Once I've done that, I'll go to the anvil again and I'll go ahead and get a little bit more defined tip or rounded edge there. Once I've done that, I will take it and isolate the blade part of the knife so I can start working the handle. I'm doing this on the non-curved side. That way, whenever I forge my bevels in, it will do the little banana or the curve to where the tip will actually rise. So I try to stay patient and I use the straight peen of the hammer as well as angled blows from the face of the hammer to try to move this material more narrow but also towards the tail of the handle. I probably needed to spend probably another 3 or 4 heats with the hammer, but I got a little impatient and I went to the tabletop power hammer to do this, which it makes short work of it. It does a good job, but if you see, the spine of the knife starts to pinch towards the center like I was doing a normal hidden tang. On a blacksmith knife, you want the spine and the handle to be one straight line. So once I get this all drawn out, I'm going to have to take it to the anvil and reposition the top of the spine of the tail is what I'll call it. I don't show that part, but it just makes it not quite as fluid as what I would have liked it to have been. And to get this rounded and lengthened out, I just kept going in circular motion, hammering all sides of it, and just kept going until it finally got to the length that I wanted and the thickness that I wanted. Okay, David, who made this power hammer, has these angled bevel dies. You put them in there, you put the spine of the knife towards the wider edge, blade towards the raised edge, and go to town, and it'll hammer in your bevels pretty well. I do about 4 or 5 heats on this, and then I take it to the anvil and I finish it out with the hammer. All right, decided to clean it up a little bit on the grinder. It had a couple of little sharp edges. I'm not sure what that was from, but I had a couple of sharp edges on what's going to be the handle. So I cleaned it up, went ahead and did a little bit of rough grinding on the bevels to get them to a better or more desirable shape and thickness. It went pretty good. It went pretty well. I'd done quite a bit of work on the anvil doing that, so it made it pretty simple. Okay, following the rough grind, I decided to put a couple of twists on the handle part or on the tail. It just makes it a little bit more comfortable, adds a little twist to the knife itself, and I just think it makes it look better. So we did that. It turned out well. It was easy. I just used vice grips. It twisted really easily. I took some wire, cut it off at the same length of the handle material on the knife, just so I would know where I needed to bend it in order to get a good shape and good sized handle on this. It gave me a good reference point. I will say, once I get it heated up and start to hammer it in, I did this completely the wrong way. I felt like I had a handful of thumbs, and I'm stumbling and bumbling, and it's bending where it's not supposed to bend. If I'd had it to do over with, I would have taken it to the vise and just used some pliers to get the bend right where I wanted it, and then use the hammer to do the final shaping. Just like everything, I keep working at it, keep going at it, and eventually I get it to a good shape, but it definitely was not very blacksmithy the way it was done. It was pretty bad, and not I guess efficient would be the term. All right, here it is after shaping the handle. Got it all straight. I'm gonna go ahead and do the heat treat next. I did cut off the end of the handle. Normally they'll put a little tail, little twisty curly Q thing on it. I was going to, and then I decided I was just gonna cut it off and then grind it to be round later, because I don't want it to be getting in the way of me actually using this knife out here. As you can see, I'm hoping that as I grind, that I remove a few more of this so the bevels are a little bit more defined. Outside of that, I kind of like it. The little bit of a sheep's foot type look. I wasn't going for that to begin with, but after I did the bevels, it didn't curve as much as I thought. But I kind of like this look. So it's gonna make me a good little knife for out here in the shop. And in case you're wondering, yes, this does burn my knuckles. It shot up it and got me pretty good. I managed to get it back into the oil, and it was hard. It file skated. It did everything that it was supposed to do. Went ahead, took it out of the temper, and everything looked good to go. So I went to the grinder to do my finish grinding. I go through the same progression of belts that I would normally do. I went 80, 120. Then I will go through 3 Trizac belts, which is the 100, which is supposed to be like a 180 grit, and then a 220 grit, and then a 400. And then I end it with this next belt, which is a conditioning belt. I like to put a little WD-40 on it. It seems to work a little bit better, maybe my imagination, but I do it, and I like it. So might be something you could try if you do these conditioning belts. It does splatter it everywhere, it gets on stuff, but I do like it, and that's part of my routine. All right, here it is. Got it all shaped, finished ground. I'm not gonna do any hand sanding like I said, because this is just gonna be a shop knife. I don't know, it's rough, but it'll be perfect for what I need. Something that I don't care if it gets scratched up or dropped or anything like that. All I have left now is to go sharpen it, and I'm going to show a little bit of that, and then might show a few picks at the end. All right, so my procedure of sharpening these, I start with a 220 grit belt on my slower speeded 2x72, and I work one side until I get a good burr, and then I go to the other side until I establish a good burr on that side. I will make a couple of passes going from edge to edge, and then I will go to the workshop. This is a horrible picture of the workshop, but it does have 4 belts that I use, and I go all the way up to a leather belt that comes with it. All right, I'm not going to do any still pictures. I'll just show the finished product. It's been sharpened. I've already done a little bit of a testing, but I'd say it's going to be a handy one. So, I don't know. Appreciate you guys watching, and catch you next time. Do a much better one next time. Appreciate it.